to avoid the constant weight gain that keeps on happening no matter what you eat. Anybody relate to that? Yeah. Yes. And the going to bed and just laying awake, or waking up over and over and over, and then in the morning you feel like you didn't sleep at all. What about those really scary memory lapses where you can't remember, oh my goodness, where did I put my purse? And what is that person's name? And ooh, what did my boss tell me to do? But instead, what if you could have a normal weight without worrying about what you eat? What if you could sleep great all night long and wake up full of energy? What if you, as you got older, kept your brain sharp and you were able to keep on learning? You're nodding your head. You're like, yeah, that's what I want. If I could teach you that, would you be interested? Oh yeah, for sure, of course, right? That's a no-brainer question. Absolutely, of course. Thank you for participating. I appreciate that. Our workshop tonight is very, very participatory. We got rid of the tables so that we could all, like be in the same room together. And so I do want you to participate, hand, things like that, okay? Is that a deal? Everybody all do that with me? You want to know one reason that I do that? To keep you awake. Because how many of you are tired at the end of the night? Right? We had a guy one time, he fell asleep during the talk. And we were afraid he was going to fall out of his chair. So when you participate, you're going to learn more, and everybody's going to feel like, we're just getting to know each other. So I love your appreciation, your participation. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. I'm Tammy Stewart, and I am a cellular detoxification specialist. Has anybody ever heard one of those before? No. Yes. So in our society, we're hearing about some of those things a little more often. I've been doing this more than 10 years. And 10 years ago, there was nobody else doing anything like this. You know, when you were a kid and you thought, when I grow up, I want to be fill in the blank. Somebody tell me, what did you imagine? Get married. A veterinarian. My brother is a veterinarian. Okay, that was okay, thank you for that. That's where I'm going. Somebody else. What did you want to be when you grew up? Yeah.
A flight attendant, but I'm too short.
Oh, I'm sorry. Bummer.
I'm only 4'11".
Oh no. All right, somebody else. What did you want to be when you grew up?
I was a flight attendant, but I retired.
Okay. Good for you. Well, I'll tell you what. A healthcare practitioner was like the farthest thing from my brain's over here and science is over here. My stepdad is in heaven laughing. Now he's my cheerleader. He's like, you can do it, you can do it. But that was not my plan. How many of you have children? That's why I'm here. And everything in life was great. And I felt God asking me to pray. Here I am, send me. And I said, no, God, no, you don't understand. Everything in life is wonderful. You've done such a great job, God. You've blessed us so much, but I gave it up and I prayed that for the whole year. And then our son was a junior in high school. And he came to us and said he was depressed. Has any of you gone through that with somebody you love? Mm-hmm. And so we prayed about it, because that's the first thing we're supposed to do. And he came back to us months later, and he said, I still feel depressed. So then what do? Where do we go? You take him to the doctor, right? Because that's all we need to do. And what does the medication? Because that's the doctor's job, right? That's his tool. And in our country, he has standard of care. He has to stay inside that box. My sister-in-law is an MD. Think about how much it takes for them to develop that skill. Oh my goodness, the sacrifice. They do that because they want to help people, right? How many of you are on medication and it's not helping? Right, usually about half of the room. So he was on his medication because that's all we knew to do. And he got a little better. We went back to the doctor. And what does the doctor do?
Increase it.
Increases medication. And all this time I'm thinking, and I grew up on a ranch. Has any of you ever seen a mad mama cow? Anybody? Okay, I can tell who has because I get an immediate physical response. That's who I was. I was that mad mama cow because in order to solve any problem, what do you have to do? Find the cause. Remove the cause of the problem, right? Was the medication doing that? No. I was furious. I'm with my doctors. I'm like literally, one of them I took his what's causing this problem? And he said, let me send you to someone else. Because he was like, ah. And that someone else tested us for toxicity. And I thank God for that woman every day. Because I didn't know anybody else. I did not know a cellular detoxification specialist. I'll tell you more about the story later, but we had mold in our house. Mold is poison. It is toxic to everybody all the time. In our family of 5, we were all having different symptoms. I had 8 metal fillings in my nose. Now, when you were a kid and you dropped the thermometer, what did mother say? Don't touch it. We knew it was poison, and yet it was in our mouth. We're not going to go there. We're not going to discuss that, okay? So, we got the fillings removed safely and correctly, but then I had, and my mother had metal fillings. So I had more than my lifetime, I had her lifetime, full of mercury accumulation in my brain. So I had to learn. I had to go back to school. I was already working a job. I had to get another job to learn how to save my children. So that's why I'm here. And now I'm able to take what I learned to save my family and save you too. Because this is where my faith is. This is real important. I believe with every cell in my body that God designed your body to heal. When we heal. Do you believe you can get well? Do you really? I know you do, or you wouldn't be here, right? You would have given up. We were talking about that. Tell me what you were sharing about your diet. Would you share, please?
Eating practically nothing, less than 1,000 calories a day, and still gaining weight.
And still gaining weight. And can anybody relate to that? Okay. You're the opposite. You eat and eat and eat and keep losing. How frustrating that is. One of my sons is like that. So give me some words. How does that make you feel?
Frustrated.
Frustrated. What else? Overwhelmed. Oh my goodness. Looking at all the diets out there. Right? What else? Defeated. That hurts me.
I don't have any limitations on my activity.
Okay.
And my daughter's fine. My son has hypothyroid, fashion. So he's on medication.
Right.
And my little one has alopecia universalis. So
Is it that it just breaks my heart for you and for them. Good for you for being here. I know exactly how you feel because I've been right there. I was healthier than all my friends. I never had a weight problem. I used to be underweight. Now I have a healthy weight. So I had a whole different emotional problem to go through. And I learned this for my children. But I'm also going to share later something about my health too. Thank you for sharing. Someone tell me, you looked at the Facebook ad and you saw those symptoms. What pain brought you here? So tell me how that feels every day. I don't know how you keep going. One of my kids had chronic fatigue. So when you said that, in my heart, I was right back there on the floor with him. You can get this girl. Thank you for sharing. Someone else. Yes.
No cure for my immunological.
Someone else.
I want to feel normal.
You want to feel normal. Absolutely. You know what I think in our country? We don't know what normal is. Right. You know? Because we are one of the sickest countries in the world. We have more degenerative disease than other countries. Thank you for sharing.
My thyroid levels, one is way too high and one is below normal.
And how does that make you
And
feel?
I wake up in chronic pain every single day. I have so much inflammation, even though I try to eat anti-inflammatory diet, I
Right.
don't eat gluten.
Right?
The list goes on and on, but I wake up in chronic pain. I can't even walk when I wake up in the morning.
I'm proud of you for being here, for believing that there's an answer. Good for you. Someone back there raising their hand.
Mine is the same as hers, chronic fatigue and chronic pain, and I have a clotting disorder, so I take blood thinners, and therefore I can't take anti-inflammatories.
Right.
And so it's a,
And then you feel, you get on this wheel,
Yeah.
don't you, of
Yeah.
hopelessness.
so I can't really take anything, so.
So tell me, how does that affect how does your work suffer? You work outside the home?
Oh,
You have a
yes,
job? What do you do?
and I'm in the medical field. I'm a physical therapist and an orthopedic PA.
Wow.
So,
So
like,
how does that pain, how does your job
it's
suffer?
hard. It's hard to take care of patients, and you know, it's a lot of physical work myself. And then,
Yeah.
you know, by the end of the day, you know, by 2 o'clock, I basically hit a wall.
Yeah.
My thyroid's always tested normal,
Right,
but
and we're
my
gonna talk about that.
inflammation in
Thank
my
you for
body is
sharing.
like through the roof of my
Right.
NA. So,
Yeah.
and again, no rhyme or reason. So.
Thanks for sharing. How does your family suffer because of that? Do you have children at home? How about your sister? And you work? How does your work suffer?
She said 2 o'clock, it was like great.
Yeah, and then you know what, it's not just your work suffering, it's you. Because then you go home and what do? Exactly, and so it robs you of life.
So weekend, what do you want to do? Sleep?
Thank you for sharing, I appreciate that, I know that's hard. And I know that you didn't come here expecting for me to ask you that, right? I am gonna share, we are gonna talk about thyroid and we are gonna talk about autoimmune, and yeah. You could walk out of here with a brain full of knowledge. And when does that knowledge have the power to change your life?
When you decide to,
Yeah. Exactly, when you use it. And that takes a lot of work, it takes desire, you have to want it. I know that you can get better. I know it because every one of my clients gets better 100% of the time when they do what I tell them to do. Sometimes it's hard. We don't accept everyone as a client. Later on tonight, I will share with you what the application process is for you to become one of our clients. We don't accept everyone into our office because we're not the right fit for everybody. Our program is hard, especially when you're doing it for kids. It could be easier from one perspective, easier than maybe 17-year-olds. So you have to know why you want it, and that's one of the things that we're going to talk about tonight. That's really our first qualification step, is for you to know what you want and for you to know why you want it. So let's talk then about thyroid. Y'all ready to talk about thyroid? Okay, I'm gonna give you some tips. You know there are 3 kinds of learners. People who learn by listening, people who learn by looking, so I'm gonna write on the board, and people who will learn by what? Yes, so I want you to write. And that way you're gonna absorb so much more of this information. I don't expect you to go home tomorrow and read your notes. I mean, honestly, how often does that happen? Because we're all busy and tired, right? We have lives. But when you write it, I want at the end of the night, I want your board to look just like mine. Your paper to look just like my board. So everybody has something to write with and something to write on, right? So, I have a marker. So, tell me, how many of you are on thyroid medication? Thank you. How many of you have gone to the doctor and he says your tests are normal? Okay, so yeah, so we got half the room's on medication and the other half, the doctor says their test is normal. And what does the doctor test first for your thyroid? He tests your TSH. Do you know there has never been a study done proving that if you have a normal TSH, you will have a fully functioning thyroid? Did you know that? Who knew that?
I did.
Yeah, yeah. What organ produces TSH? Yeah, the pituitary. The brain produces TSH, the thyroid does not produce TSH. So your thyroid produces T4, and T4 comes down here to your liver. What's your liver's job? Yes, to cleanse and detoxify the body. Do you think it might be overworked? Yeah, seriously overworked. The liver converts T4 to T3. T3 is the active hormone. T3 is the what? Active hormone, thank you. T3 is the active hormone. Let's think about thyroid. What symptoms do we expect that tells us our thyroid is working or not?
Weight gain,
Yes,
sensitivity
your
to cold,
Cold,
Cold
your
sensitivity.
thermostat, your skin, hair, and nails. In our very first appointment, we're going to send you some paperwork. You're going to have like an hour of homework to do before your first appointment with us. And one of the questionnaires doesn't just say, is your hair falling out? Are your nails breaking? Is your skin dry? It tells you why those things happen and how it relates to thyroid. Is that the coolest thing? I love this questionnaire. And so it's going to teach you your thyroid controls the way your body uses proteins. Your skin, hair, and nail are proteins. Yes?
Just a quick question, there's two forms of thyroid, isn't it, the hyper and the hypo?
Yes. Yes, they can be, absolutely. And in a minute, I'll teach you how they relate. So T3 is the active hormone. T3 controls all of those things that we just said. Are you having an aha light bulb right now? Has your doctor ever tested your liver and talked to you about how your liver relates to your thyroid? That's the first thing I want to look at is your liver. Because you might not even have a thyroid problem. Your problem might be a liver problem. How significant would that be? So number one, liver. T4 converting to T3. That's number one. Number two, you have 75 trillion cells in your body. Which organs are made up of cells? All of them. Every cell is made up of 2 layers of fat on the outside. Do you want that to be good fat or bad fat? Good fat. The right diet is essential for a healthy life, right? I mean, that's just common sense, right? And yet, some of you have said, how many of you have tried every diet at least 3? You've tried paleo, and when I think back, 30 years ago, what did we have? We had Scarsdale, we had Weight Watchers, and now we've got keto, and we've got what else? What other diets have you tried? Yeah, Jenny Craig. And how many of you have been to multiple doctors? Yeah. And what else have you done to try to get better? Yes. Yeah, you've taken herbs. Good. What else have you done to try to get better?
Homeopathic.
Homeopathics,
Yeah.
great things. Organic foods, right. Yes, herbs. What else have you done? Exercise. Yes. So, you're counting calories on this stupid diet, and you're exercising to burn calories. Do you feel like you should be a black hole by now? Right? And it still doesn't work. Does that just make you crazy frustrated? And that's why you're here, and I'm so happy you're here. So 2 layers of fat on the outside of the cell, that needs to be good fat. In our program, we work with clients in programs of several months. You didn't get here overnight, right? So I've got bad news. I have 2 things. Number 1, I don't have a quick fix. Sorry, no quick fix. Number 2, I don't have a magic pill. You are going to take lots of pills in our program. How many of you already take lots of pills, right? Medications and supplements, homeopaths and all kinds of stuff. You're going to take different ones. But here's the good news. You do what I tell you, your body will heal. Because that's who God made you. That's not my wisdom. That's God's design. God designed your body to heal. So diet is part of our program. We're going to teach you that. We're not going to just teach you one diet. We're going to teach you a lifestyle of diet. What does the word diet mean? Eating plan. We're all on a diet, right? Okay. So 2 layers of fat on the outside. You have receptors for all of your hormones and all of your nutrients. So when you go to the doctor and he tests your nutrients, has anybody done that? A micronutrient test? No? Okay, some of you have, great. And yet, well, let me come back to that in a second. So you have receptors for all of your hormones. Think about when you're on the cell phone and you drop the call. Do you throw your phone away? Your phone's a piece of trash? No. What happened? What was the problem? Yeah, the connection, the reception. The service was there, but the connection didn't get made. When your cells are inflamed, let's think about when you cut your finger. How does it feel?
Sore.
It hurts. Do you use it? No, I mean, it hurts because it hurts. And then what happens in a few days or a week? It heals, right? What if all of the cells in your body are inflamed? Like when your finger is cut and it hurts. Does that explain why you hurt all the time? Right? So, when you have inflammation at the cellular level, then you end up with that. May I see that questionnaire? So you've got that questionnaire with all those crazy questions. Thank you. When you started filling this out, did you wonder how these were all connected? Did anyone wonder that? When I first did this questionnaire, so in our country, we're accustomed to the heart doctor, and the female doctor, and the hormone doctor, and the foot doctor, and on and on and on, right? So they ask very narrow focused questions. And these focus the whole body, right? Which of your organs is made up of cells? All of them. Do you have another aha moment? If all of my cells are inflamed, then I might end up with all these crazy problems, right? So let me interpret this for you. If your score is over 100, that is severe. The highest I ever had was over 200. If your score is over 50, you definitely better start doing something soon. If your score is under 50, you're on the path. Thank you for sharing. You're on the path to cellular inflammation. So, and I tell you, I almost hesitate to even give you those numbers because I've had people come to me. What does an optimist do to their symptoms?
Minimize.
Yes. So I've had people come to me and their score is like 40, 30, and they come to me, and during the course of our application process, I learned that they've been diagnosed with, this autoimmune and that hormone problem, and they're taking medication for something else, and I'm like, oh my goodness. And the way they cope is by being optimistic and minimizing their symptoms. So just because you have a low test, a low score there, doesn't mean that you don't have a problem. So let's say that this is your T3 receptor, and it's burned out, and your brain can't get the message. What kind of medication are you taking? Armor is T4 and T3, and you're taking what?
It's called Nature.
Nature Throid is a natural form. You can take, there's no such thing as perfect medication. You could, if there were, and the receptor was burned out, did you get another aha moment? This is why you've been taking that medication for 10 or 20 or 30 years, and you're still not getting better. Is that what some of you came here tonight to figure out? Why have I been taking this medication and I'm not getting any better? Who knows the name of the hormone that tells your body to burn fat? Leptin. They discovered that back in about 1990. And they thought they were going to develop a drug, a leptin drug, because they've got these people who are overweight, and leptin tells your body to burn fat for fuel, so it makes sense that they must not have any leptin. That sounded logical, right? However, when they started testing it, their leptin was sky high. And now you know why. Why was that happening? Because of the inflammation. The body was screaming, burn fat for fuel, and the brain couldn't get the message because the leptin receptor was burned out. Did they have a leptin problem? What was the problem? Cellular inflammation. They had a cellular inflammation problem. Which organs? All of them. All of the organs. You don't just have a thyroid problem. You have a whole body problem. And if you keep doing what you've been doing, what kind of results are you going to keep getting? The same results. What we do is completely different. Now, if you'll take that chart that was on your chair, and it says True Cellular Detox, and it says the brain, and it has self, and it has a prep phase, and a body phase, and a brain phase. That's what we do. In a very simplified chart. Our specialty is cellular detoxification and cellular healing. This is not, how many of you have ever done a colon cleanse? Anybody? A colon cleanse, a liver cleanse, a blood cleanse, right? That is not cellular detoxification from the brain. That's what we do that's completely different from the other natural things. Because some of you have done a lot of natural things. So, cellular inflammation is wearing out your hormones. Some of you were sharing with me earlier, you were feeling just constant weight gain, the panic attacks, stress, just constant stress. When your stress hormones can't work, how are you going to feel?
Bad.
Yeah, you're going to feel stressed because your body can't get the message to calm down. Those stress hormones, you're going to just feel stressed all the time. Who wants to feel that? How would you, if what you're experiencing continues?
None of that far in.
What is your life going to be like 5 years? And who else is going to be suffering? Psychotic, yes. Who else is going to be suffering? Everybody around you. And you deserve better. So think back. I was sharing with you my son's story. So he was a senior in high school. I want you to think back to what you were doing when you were a senior in high school. I used to ask people to share, what were you doing? And they were like, you don't want to know what I was doing when I was a senior in high school, right? He did well just to get out of bed in the morning. And I give God absolutely the credit for closing my mouth. Because I'm not real good at closing my mouth. But I would go in his room all summer long, and it was just like, and I never said, you lazy bum, why don't you get out of bed? Because God just closed my mouth, but then also the kid had a lawn mowing business to save money for college. That is hard work in Texas in the summer. He couldn't get out of bed. Well, he wasn't lazy. He was sick. Was that his fault? No. It is, so how you're feeling, what you've been going through is not your fault. So if you have ever thought that, or if you've ever had a doctor who said, well, if you'll just go on a diet, has that ever happened to anybody? It is not your fault. You didn't do this to yourself. We're going to talk in a second about what did cause that in your body. So, number 2 is cellular inflammation. Number 3 is, I'm going to tell you a story. I'm going to give you a label, RT3, but I'm going to tell you a story. So, when you get the flu, what do you feel like doing? Sleeping, is that what you're supposed to do when you have the flu? Absolutely, so that your body can what? Rest and heal. And so your body is trying to kill that germ. So remember T3 is the hormone that gives you energy. Your body wants to stop the T3. So it releases reverse T3, RT3. Your RT3 is going to be really high to stop your T3, to make you feel tired so your body can spend its energy healing, okay? What if your RT3 is high all the time? Exhausted all the time. Moody all the time. Gaining weight. No matter what kind of medication you take, no matter how you change your mindset, no matter how much prayer you use. Can God create a miracle? Absolutely. He's in the business of miracles. There's a reason that these things happen. And to solve a problem, we have to remove the cause. So the third problem could be RT3. RT3 is high because of stressors. I'm going to tell you 3 kinds of stressors. I want you to write this down. Number 1, chemical stressors. That's my specialty. My specialty is very narrow and very, 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 very deep. I'm part of a nationwide network of practitioners focusing on cellular detox and cellular healing. And there are practitioners in our group constantly doing research, learning the newest things. 10 years ago, had any of you heard of cellular inflammation? Haven't I? So we're doing lots of research, and being in this group lets me help you faster. What I did with my family a decade ago, you will accomplish much, much easier and faster. So number 1, chemical toxicity. Number 2, physical, like the flu germ. Number 3, emotional. You know, if you have an emotional stressor, that can make you feel really tired also. So those stressors would increase your RT3. That's a test that I'm going to want to see. Number 4 is autoimmune, and I'm going to talk about that just really briefly. How would we define autoimmune? What's the common definition? The body is doing what? Attacking itself. Do you think that your body, honestly, is your body going to do that to itself?
No,
Yeah.
not based on the research that I've read.
So here's what your body's doing. Let's think about, again, I'm going to give you a story. So, in your gut, the wall of the gut is supposed to have really, really tight junctions. So you eat food and it goes into your gut. What happens in your stomach? What happens to the food?
It's broken
It
down.
gets broken down into the individual nutrients, and the individual nutrients are supposed to get through the wall of the gut into the bloodstream. The blood carries it all over the body. That's what's supposed to happen. When you get leaky and you get big chunks of food across the gut into the bloodstream, what's the body gonna do? Attack what?
The protein.
The protein, the foreign invader. The body is attacking the foreign invader. That's what autoimmune is. It's the body doing the right thing in the right circumstance. What's the solution in this scenario? Fix the leaky gut. Remove the cause of the problem, right? Don't take autoimmune drugs and cover up the symptom. Remove the cause of the problem. Heal the leaky gut. Let's think about thyroid, because that's why you're here. Have any of you been diagnosed with thyroid autoimmune? Okay. About a decade ago.
I scratched my head.
Okay, that's all right. About a decade ago, I started talking about this. Most people didn't even know what that was. And their doctors were not testing for it. I had one of my close friends who was a doctor said, I need you to test me for thyroid autoimmune. He said, no, I can't do that. Why would he say that? Because he didn't have a drug. He didn't have a drug for it. Therefore, the insurance company called that unnecessary. Your body will heal. When we remove the inflammation, remove the interference, the body will heal every single time. This suffering that brought you here is unnecessary. You do not have to keep on feeling. Or have you been feeling better over time? Or what? Worse over time. So imagine thyroid disorder. Today, I feel like I look at your situation, and I feel like you're at a rock, at a fork in the road. And if you keep doing what you've been doing, you're going to keep getting the same result. But when you take a different turn, how can I journey from here to there? How can I do that? A step, and a step, and a step. And I'll get there, right? I'll get all the way over here. And so let's think about thyroid autoimmune. Because you can relate this to any autoimmune condition. All right, any autoimmune condition, the body is attacking a foreign invader. So let's think about the thyroid. We know that the body needs iodine to create thyroid hormone. What if there's a molecule of mercury sitting on the iodine receptor? Are we supposed to be eating mercury? No! What's the body going to do? Attack the mercury. What if this is your selenium receptor in your thyroid, and there's a molecule of lead sitting on it? You're supposed to be eating lead? No! Where did we get lead? Yep. And where else? Yep. And the pipes in your house, and the gasoline, and it builds up 4 generations. I have led from me and my mother and my grandmother and my great-grandmother. Toxins build up 4 generations. My middle son, when we first tested his lead, he had never been exposed to lead. His lead was off the chart from generational. It makes perfect sense, doesn't it? Absolutely.
Do you still have the lead thing on?
I do. Mine did not show as high on that test. But my daddy used to be 6'5". I fit under his underarm. We saw him Christmas, he looked great. When we saw him in May, he had to look up to see me. He was so bent over. He had extreme lead exposure. And it's just a matter of time before I would have ended up like that. So when I ask you, what's your life gonna be like in 5 years if you keep doing what you've been doing? I say that with passion because that's how I feel. My grandmother had Alzheimer's for like 10 years. She was in a nursing home. Who has experienced that with someone in your family? What would you do to avoid that? Anything. That's what I tell my kids. When I'm being extreme, I'm like, you know what? I will do whatever it takes not to be like my grandmother and your grandy. And then at least they understand my motivation. And my grandmother on my other side had all kinds of, she had diabetes, she just, that's long list of symptoms. And I will do whatever it takes not to be there. God designed my body to heal, but we remove the interference. So, the 4th reason you might have a thyroid problem is autoimmune. A thyroid problem that doesn't respond to medication or diet, right? Because what's the root of the problem? The cellular inflammation. It's destroyed all of the receptors in your cell. So, 3 causes of cellular inflammation. I want you to write this down. Number 1, sugars. Does anybody know how long it takes grain to turn to sugar? 4 seconds. Grains are sugar. Even if they're healthy whole grains. That's a whole different subject for a conversation sometime. So number 1, sugars and grains. Number 2, bad fats. Number 3, toxins. Now some of you have gone on a low-carb diet, gluten-free diet, grain-free diet, right? And yet you're still suffering or you wouldn't be here. Yes, you have to eat the right diet. But now do you see why changing your diet's not enough? It's essential, but it's not enough, right? So did that answer the question that some of you came here for? Some of your ridiculous frustration. How frustrating is that? To try to control what you're eating and keep getting worse and worse and worse. So, sugars, grains, bad fats, toxins. That is causing the cellular inflammation. In our program, in our first appointment, that's the first step in the application process for you to become one of our clients. We're going to test your cellular inflammation. Has anybody been sitting here wondering, I wonder how much inflammation I have?
Yeah.
We're going to test that. We're going to test your cellular inflammation. Second thing we're going to do a test that measures inflammation in the optic nerve that's going to tell me something about what's causing that inflammation. So think back to, I told you about my doctor that I was like screaming at him, and he said, well, please go talk to this other doctor in my office. So the test that she did told us that my son failed the test. And when you fail this vision test, it tells me 99% sure you have a biotoxin problem. Biotoxins are living. In our house, it was mold. It might be parasites or Lyme or something like that. If we had never gotten rid of the mold in the house, what would have happened to him? I can't think about that. As a mother, it just paralyzes my heart. And I just say, thank you, God, for sending us the answer. It is so easy to get biotoxin, to get mold toxins out of the body. If we had just gotten rid of the mold in our house, we had never removed the poison from the body, then how frustrating would that be? It would be just like you going on a diet after spending tens of thousands of dollars and not get better. Plus, that wasn't the only toxin gonna measure your inflammation. We're gonna do a test that tells me what kind of toxins might be causing that inflammation. Third test, this one is no fun, it gives us a baseline. We're gonna do body composition. We're gonna measure how hydrated your body is and how much fat you have and how much muscle. How much is fat and how much is muscle? Which weighs more, fat or muscle? Muscle. So recently I had a client who said, I'm not losing as much weight this week as I did last month. I said, how are your clothes fit? She said, oh yeah, they're looser. So what's happening in her body? Yeah, she's less fat, more muscle. The scale might stay the same, so you have to look a little beyond that, right? So body composition. The next thing we're gonna do is a test that tells me something about your adrenals and how your adrenals are functioning. And yet, if the cells in your adrenal gland aren't functioning, is it an adrenal problem? No. What's the problem?
Inflammation.
Cellular inflammation. It's a cellular inflammation problem. If I just focused on your adrenals and gave you all kinds of herbs and supplements and told you to change your mind and do meditation and calm down and take these herbs, some of you are laughing. That tells me that you've been down that path. And you're still here because you didn't get a solution. It's a whole body problem. Therefore, it's saying what kind of solution? Whole body solution. It's a lifestyle solution. So those are some of the tests we're going to do in our first appointment. Let's talk again about this inflammation. We said 3 things cause inflammation: sugars, grains, bad fats, and okay. There are 5 kinds of toxins, so I want you to write this down. Number 1, heavy metals. How many of you ever had a mercury filling? They're all gone now, so which means the mercury's in your brain. So at least you're one step forward. We got the mercury out of your mouth. Now we just have to get it out of your brain. Do you know what caused Mad Hatter's disease?
Mercury.
Yeah. And the founder of our company got sick because he got his amalgam fillings removed incorrectly. He was a chiropractor and he lost his health. He couldn't work. He couldn't function. He had 3 little kids, and there were days when he had to tell his wife, "Get the kids out of the house," because he couldn't handle the stress of the noise of the children. It absolutely robbed him of his life. But believing 100% God designed your body to heal when we remove the interference, he was relentless until he found an answer. So that's why we are able to help you easier than he was able to help himself. And one of my associates is here, Dr. Carolyn. Would you stand up? Dr. Carolyn is one of the new practitioners in our group. She lives in San Antonio.
Yeah.
I want you to share with me the story you told about the C. diff woman.
Oh, how interesting is that? Does anybody here know what C. diff is? Has anybody here ever had that wonderful experience? Okay.
So
it was
gut problems.
Yes, it's a gut problem.
Extreme.
It's induced actually by a doctor put this gal on heavy duty antibiotics, and it allowed one organism to really grow viciously.
So what were her symptoms?
This is embarrassing to say, but your bathroom adventures are unbelievable. We would call them explosive.
Yeah.
And you would also want to maybe hold your nose.
Mm-hmm.
And they create issues in a marriage.
Yeah.
And she had 0 energy at the end of her days. And her husband, after 3 months of this, was so unhappy with her. And literally, as she began the program, within 48 hours, the bathroom habits changed and normalized.
Yeah.
And she had 1 kidney only. They actually fought. The doctors said, "We're afraid to put you on vancomycin." They wanted to do it with antibiotics. And honestly, it happened in 48 hours with just changing some of her behaviors, which we both practice.
Thank you.
Like,
Thank
awesome.
you for sharing. And I had a client very similar. She had retired, and she said, "I've retired, and my husband and I take care of our 3 grandchildren." I'm like, "Woman, that's not retirement." Right? That's a full-time job. They wanted to travel. They bought an RV because she had to take the toilet with her. And within 2 months, She was having normal bowel function. Imagine how freeing and life-changing that was for her and her husband and her grandkids and everybody. God designed your body to heal when we remove the problems. So we were talking about the toxins, 5 toxins that cause this cellular inflammation. Number 1, heavy metals. Number 2, biotoxins. Biotoxins are living. It might be mold. It might be the parasites and things that cause C. diff. It might be pathogens. Maybe you went to Mexico a long time ago and you got a buggy, and you took the antibiotic, you went through the protocol and you got better, but that organism is still living inside of you. Number 3, PCBs and dioxins. Those are found mostly in non-organic meats and dairy. Number 4, PCB and dioxin, D-I-O-X-I-N, dioxins. Number 4, halogens. So let's think about, in your thyroid, you have to have iodine to create T4. Where do you get exposed to chlorine? Every day.
Water.
Your swimming pool, your water.
Shower.
You get more chlorine from your shower than from the water you drink all day long. What about fluoride?
Water.
Your water, your
Toothpaste.
toothpaste, right? What about flame retardants? Your clothing,
Bedspread,
your bedding,
pillows.
pillows, flame retardants, computer screens, televisions, the new car. Yeah, all of those things, you see that it's a lifestyle change. And how would I walk from here to here? One step at a time. One step at a time. So all of those things block the iodine production, block iodine in your body. Think back to high school. Remember the periodic table of the elements, that big chart on the wall? Everything that's in a column binds like a magnet to all those other things. The chlorine, the fluoride, the bromine, those sit on the iodine receptor so that iodine can't work. So those are a 4th kind of toxin, bromine. And I've got, when I'm standing in front of people, pesticides, number 5, pesticides. So this list of 5 toxins is the one, these are the toxins that most commonly cause thyroid problems, which is why we're here. So that's why I'm limiting it to that list of 5 things. So pesticides. Think about when your neighbor has his yard sprayed, what does the wind do? Blow it over to you. When even organic foods are tested, proving positive that they have pesticide, because that wind happens in the farms also. So it's a lifestyle program, and it is one step at a time. So I want us to take a minute now, because we've talked about all the horrible symptoms that you're having. We've talked about how it affects your work and your family and your life, and what's going to keep happening if you keep doing the same thing. It's just going to keep getting worse. So I'm an eternal optimist. I don't like to dwell on all those horrible things. So let's turn the table. Everybody, we're ready for us to turn the table. Okay, let's think about that. Linda, would you share with us, once you started making some lifestyle changes, some of the things that happened to you?
Well, my skin got really smooth. I've always had dry, rough, kind of scaly skin. It got really smooth. My hair got really shiny, according to my friends. You see it every day, so you don't notice it about yourself. I started sweating, which at first was like, oh, I didn't have to do that anymore after menopause. And then I realized that I wasn't sweating because there were blockages. And when I started sweating, I ended up being very grateful that I was excreting toxins through my skin. And I can jump up out of the bathtub. I can run upstairs. I just have so much less inflammation in my body. I'm able to sleep at night, and I don't take a medication for restless leg syndrome anymore.
Are your dreams more vivid now when you sleep?
I don't think so.
Yeah, dreams are really, they're different.
Yeah.
Different for everybody.
They're just about the same
Sleeping so well.
as always for me, but I just feel so much better, and I have more energy. Brain fog, I was just really struggling with that. So I've just seen a lot of great changes that are very welcome in my life.
And why do you want, why is that important to you?
Because I am a world traveler and I love getting out and about. Africa, Asia, my specialty. And I also am a new grandmother. I have twin grandsons that were born in July who are now eating food, so food is all over everywhere. But they are the delight of my life, and I want to be happy and healthy in order to spend really quality time being a really important part of their lives.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing. I get chills when she shares that, because my why is so that when I'm 80, I can enjoy life with my grandkids. It dawned on me, probably when your grandkids were born, it dawned on me, okay, I was about 30 when my kids were born. And if my kids are about 30 when they have kids, I'm gonna be 60. And then if they're about 30, I'm gonna be 90 by the time I'm a great grandmother. And I wanna be the grandmother, between my mother and my mother-in-law. My mother-in-law sits in a chair all day, every day, because she hurts. And she's so sick. And she gets up using a walker. She can't take her grandkids to the park or to Disney World. And my mother is active and able to do things. So in our life, we have a really stark contrast between the two. So I want you guys to think about, I want you to write down on your page, write down why. I want you to think about why you want to get better. And I'm going to give you a couple of minutes to write down some of your lifetime health goals. I'm talking 20, 30 years. The last time I asked this, there was a woman in the audience and she said, well, I'm 67 now, so I'm going to go with the 20-year life goals. But you know what? She can live to 97, right? People do it. People do it and feel active. So that's the picture I want to paint in your head. I want you to you may have to really get out the Barney box, and get your imagination going. When you're 90 and healthy, let's think about what does it mean to be healthy? You sleep all night soundly. You wake up with energy. You can think clearly. You get dressed and you're happy with what you see in the mirror. And you can go to work and you know what you're doing. And you can be productive and you can help change the world with the good that you do in your job. And you come home at night and you have energy for who?
At 90, I don't want to be working.
Me either. You know what I want?
I was on board with that.
What do you want? Yeah, what do you want when you're 90? Thank you.
I just want to be alive.
Good. But, well, wait a minute.
I want to be healthy and alive.
Yes, you
I want to
do.
be able to take care of myself, not have anybody have to
Right.
my butt for me.
Exactly. My stepfather's father had Parkinson's. And my dad's fear was that he would get Parkinson's and we would have to change his diet. And he did get Parkinson's. But before he got that bad, he got cancer. And he was gone in 6 months. And so being alive that's not what you need.
Healthy and alive.
You do. What do you want to be when you're 90 and healthy? And you're not working, what do you want to be doing? Yes. Yeah. My husband and I just went to Hawaii for the first time ever. Who has been to Hawaii? We got a really good, so we got an email and it was this really cheap package of this really not 5-star hotel, and you're like, oh, that's too good to be true. Oh, it was wonderful. And when I'm 90, I want to take my grandkids on vacations, right? Where do you want to take your grandkids?
Everywhere.
Give me a specific. Tell me what's the first thing? Where do you want to take your grandkids on vacation?
My kids aren't even there yet, so, but
Mine aren't even married.
I'm happy to take them to the beach, to the mountains,
Yes.
anywhere.
Yeah.
Anywhere, the park,
Yeah,
anywhere.
absolutely. So I'm going to be quiet. I know you don't believe that. I'm going to be quiet for a couple of minutes and let you write down some 20 to 30 year health goals. share with me? Yes.
I said to feel better, have a quality of life so I can travel, be active, but be independent.
Independent. Nice. Tell me one place you want to travel.
I would love to go to New Zealand.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah.
That's not on my radar. That's a good one. Fun. Very good. Thank you for sharing. I appreciate that. Somebody else.
No longer on Remicade.
No more medication. And why would you quit taking medication? Because you don't need it anymore. Our clients get off their medication every time. Because they don't need it anymore. Yeah. Somebody else want to share?
That's the biggest thing around about pain.
Right.
I mean, the moment I get out of bed in the morning and step on my feet, it hurts. It takes me a while to, when I get going, it's hurting.
And yet you have a smile on your face. That's really sweet. You can get better. God designed your body to heal. It happens every single time. And that form that Linda just passed out to you is the form that you can fill out so that you can make an appointment with us. What I've shared tonight is the same for all of you. And the reason we're focusing on that good, that wonderful thing, that dream, that pie in the sky dream, is because two things motivate us to change. What two things?
Investment in yourself.
Yes, your family, your value. Pain will make us change, and pleasure will make us change. And I know that the pain brought you here. And that's going to start the change. And yet, in order to make a change, how long do you have to change your diet?
Forever.
Forever. In order to make the change for life, you have to have a positive purpose in that why. So that's why I wanted you to stop and think about what your why is, because my desire is that you walk the health journey with me for life. That we walk it together. It'll be different for all of us at every stage, and that we all keep on getting better together. That's my desire, is for you to get better for life. So on your form, you can fill out name, address, phone number, all of those things. When someone comes to our office without coming to a talk like this, their initial investment is that number at the top of the page. I'm going to mark that off, because since you were here tonight, you've invested your time and your effort. We give you a discount on your initial appointment. So your discount tonight is going to be to $297. So you can put that in that green box. That's your special, because you're making an appointment tonight, because you came to the class tonight. And when I finish, you can go see Linda in the back, and she can make an appointment for you. We'll have homework. We'll send you an email with the paperwork, some videos, and the instructions, directions to our office. It's near Colleyville Heritage High School. So let me go back to my son's story, because I kind of left him there. You know, we had done the test, and we figured out we had mold in our house. I had 8 metal fillings, and my kids had all of that mercury. They had all of that lead. They had all those other toxins from me and my mother and my grandmother and my great-grandmother. And he, within a few months, he got his life back. Now, he was a senior in high school. And what are we thinking about when we're seniors in high school?
College.
Yeah, graduation and college and whatever it is that we want to do next, right? He couldn't think about those things. He did well to get out of bed. So he got better. He chose the career that he wanted. He makes a big difference in the life of every one of his clients every day. He is the kind of person that when you're with him, you just take a deep breath and you just feel calm. You just feel really good. So we saved his life, and all of his friends are better because of that. And he, sometime in the past year, they were looking at a new apartment, and he walked into an apartment and he saw this big water stain that they had painted over. And he took a picture of it, he walked out of the house, and he called me, "Mom, look at this. There's probably mold, right?" And I said, "Yeah." He said, "I got out of there." I'm like, "Thank you, God." He's equipped for life with that knowledge. And he told the realtor, "Find me the same floor plan of a house that's not moldy." Because once you go through that, How deep is the fear? And I would be thrilled to walk the journey of health with everyone. When you want it, because I can teach you, I promise, I can teach you. Who has to do the work? You have to do the work. And that's why I had you go through that exercise, because that will motivate you to do what it takes. So I want you to give yourselves a round of applause for being here, when you're tired at the end of the day, and left your family at home. Good for you for being here. And you can go see Linda in the back of the room and make an appointment. And we would be thrilled to work with you. Carolyn, would you turn this